The future is shrouded in darkness, but we'll do our best to pierce some light on the situation on this week's edition of the pod. That stuff. And honestly, some of the new designs. The black and the Saints.
I've officially given up on Casey Hill, I'm sorry. Welcome to the Chuck and Dave pod.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Dave.
And here's the pod.
Here's the pod. I apologize in advance for Chuck's...
It's a darkness retreat.
There you go. Hopefully getting in darkness retreat.
Gonna try to see if we can come out on the other side a stronger team.
Even though we've got some technical issues, we do have a surprise guest this week. So here's a little intro.
Wow.
It's Alex.
That was amazing.
I like the music. Reading that first place a little bit stinging, but
Let's call it luck.
I don't think quite luck, but
there's always a little bit of luck in fantasy, right?
Right.
There's a lot of bit of luck.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the pod, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. It's good to finally get a guest on, and this is our newest member of the Make Fantasy Football Great Again podcast. We got Alex, who is the replacement to the old Rich,
Indeed,
the bot, I
don't think he was too old. I think Rich was only like 3 years old.
I know. I mean, his program was only running for like 3 years straight. So
yeah.
But anyways,
how old is your league?
Depends.
It's a long and storied history.
That's right. You've used a few different.
Yeah. The Make Fantasy Football Great Again, I believe, is since 2020.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it would probably have to be, I'd assume.
I think so. And then, but it was the same group of people with Dave as the commissioner starting in 2018. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we had a very similar group on NFL.com in 2017 and 16, and then pretty much the same group in ESPN. Although we had more people, I know Jordan's wife was on for a little bit.
Yeah, she was.
Sure.
That's right.
Scott. There was some other. We had Garrett and apparently some other guy named David, and some things like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. When we were all combined with
Ziggy's mustache or something.
Ziggy's mustache. Yeah. So Alex, we used to be combined a little bit with Garrett's fantasy football league from all the people in players. So like Eric Kenseth, Dave Whitty, Josh Berg, if you remember him, all those guys that were those guys used to be on this other fantasy league, and then Garrett convinced us to migrate and combine, which kind of became unruly after a while.
Yeah.
So then we split back off.
Well, Garrett wasn't a great commissioner.
Yeah. I mean, he was fine. There was something. I remember us like quiet quitting out of that.
It was very quiet quitting because all of our teams did that next year except for Garrett.
Oh my gosh.
The entire league quit except Garrett, and then like
that sounds like a Garrett.
One of us ended up winning the whole thing.
I checked in like halfway through and updated my team real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
crazy.
But as far as our records go, most of the records that I refer to are since 2018, or the Yahoo era, as I call it.
Well, cool. I appreciate you guys having me on, though. This is awesome, and I like what you guys are doing. And I appreciate that little Zelda intro in my.
You know it, man. A little Gerudo Valley.
I got some stuff behind me. I've got 3 like tomes of Zelda kind of lore stuff there.
Dude, is that the robot from, or is that the droid from?
BD1 from.
Is that a
Jedi
Lego?
Fallen Order?
Or is that just Oh, okay.
Here, I'll
nice.
bring it a little closer for you and knock down everything else. Yeah,
nice.
it's
I didn't know you played that game.
Dude, it's so good.
I know.
The sequel apparently was not as good.
I didn't actually play, so I heard.
You didn't play Fallen Order or the sequel?
I played the first one.
Okay, you did.
Dude, it's basically Dark Souls with Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, it's probably a little easier than Dark Souls, right?
Oh, way easier.
I feel like half of all games Dave will compare to Dark Soul. It's like that's his litmus test. Is it how close is it to Dark Souls?
Pretty much.
Dark Souls changed the landscape of the game industry when it came out.
Dark Souls changed me.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
changed me. Cool. All right.
It's interesting, Chuck, on the YouTube video, actually, it's not a dark.
Yeah, there's nothing even there.
Square. It's just it's just your name like hovering. It just says Chuck.
It's probably better than just.
That's weird.
So for all those watching, because there's probably at least one. My guess is some
people might trickle in.
Yeah, Josh usually will jump on at some point. But yeah.
Excellent.
So, let's get to it.
We had week 9. It was week 9, yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting closer. There's only 5 more weeks left.
Halfway through, yeah.
In the regular season.
We're over halfway through, right?
Yes. Halfway through was rivalry week, started the second half.
Gee, dang it.
Yep. So we're getting close. I'm under the assumption that 2 teams' season is over in 5 weeks. Although Josh today made it sound like he thought everybody was playing, which I would love to watch 7 and 8 be forced to play each other 3 times in a row.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. It'd be Dave and Kara. And their stats.
Kind of funny that Dave faced Kara, and then the next week, his dad.
Well, when he's related to half the league, it's going to happen.
I'm pretty much yeah. I'm going to.
I had an interesting. I haven't looked at it much, but I looked at the current projections from Yahoo for the league.
Yeah.
And it's projecting that Alex that you will only lose 1 more game and end up 11-3.
That's generous.
So it's liking you quite a bit. Meanwhile, I'm gonna only win 2 more games and tie the Bulldogs and the Nincompoops at 8 and 6. And Josh and Jordan will end up 6 and 8. And Dave, you're gonna make your way to 5 and 9 and be close, but you will miss the playoffs.
Oh, come on!
And Kara will only
they're gonna say Dave's gonna win out.
Nope. Kara will win 2 more to end 4 and 10. That's what the Yahoo is
because
saying.
Tyreek, Tua, the entire Vikings team or the entire Miami team is going to die in a fiery plane crash.
Oh, don't say
all
that.
on their bye, huh?
Oh, no.
Just like eat it. So they got to bring in. They're gonna have to bring in like an XFL team.
XFL
season 4.
Oh my gosh,
that's.
Wow. I saw something earlier in the season that was like, I forget what it was. Some team that was doing really bad, probably the Bears, saying let's replace them with an XFL team.
Hey,
that's how painful it is.
Yeah, it's
like the XFL team had a better record or something crazy.
We haven't quite hit the low of the COVID era Broncos with that wide receiver as quarterback.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Or for some reason they forced him to play that game.
Yeah, yeah.
We did get a running back making a kick though this week.
We did, which is so in fantasy ways. If somebody had that on somebody had him on his team, would they get the field goal point?
Yeah, you get points no matter what the person does.
I mean, I guess Taysom Hill for me.
There you go.
He gives me everything.
That's the prime example.
Hill has not lined up to kick a field goal yet.
So this week, I think
this will be the week.
Time.
Well, let's start looking at last week.
Sounds good.
Where do you want to start, Dave?
Let's start with. We'll just go down the row. Let's go with the Nincompoops versus the.
Yeah, let's get this one over with. It's interesting because early, I would say, I don't know if it was like halftime on the early games or the whole early games. It looked like we were due for like some insanely low scoring with maybe one two topping 100 or something, and they did end up somewhat normalizing for the most part, but still pretty low scores. But yeah, I did not expect to get back into contention on this one at all. And then 23 points or something on the Chargers defense.
Yeah, 29.
29. Yes, they did.
I actually did a double take because I thought you were down by like 10 points. And then I looked, I'm like, he was down by 1 point. Like 1.5 points.
Yeah, it came down to what? Close. 2 more receptions or one reception and like 10 yards, and I would have gotten it. So on one hand, it stings a little bit to lose that close, but on the other hand, it does keep my extreme consistency streak alive. So I have not. What is it right now? I haven't scored worse than 116 or more than 128 since week 4.
Wow.
So the team just knows where our sweet spot is. And I'm starting to feel like the Polecats' future is going to depend on if we play someone who tops 120 or not.
Wow.
But we did set the record for the second smallest margin of victory so far this year at 1.27, which is behind the 1.17 that the Polecats lost to the Jackals to in week 1. So the Polecats have lost 3 games, and 2 of them combined were by 2.4.
Wow.
So we could easily be 8-1 if the ball bounced a little differently. I'm not sour about that. It does keep me awake at night, though. What did I have here? The Nincompoops. What did I say here? Oh, the Nincompoops were the winners of the second and third smallest margins. So it just stays in the family. If it's a small margin game, you probably have the Polecats or the Ninnies involved. By the way, I love the Ninnies, Alex. It's what I write in my book, is the Ninnies.
That's a good nickname.
Also, it's a mouthful to say the whole thing.
I think we can all agree that Nemoidian is the official name.
That was brilliant.
Nemoidian Nincompoop.
And it doesn't seem to be changing.
It is not changing.
No, it is not changing.
Maybe he's looking forward to Throwback Week where he'll go to the North Shore Nincompoop.
He's been changing his team, right?
Yeah.
He made 2 waiver moves last week. Finally,
he hasn't updated it yet this week, but I would be curious if we asked Sam what a Nemoidian is, if he understood what that meant.
I'm sure it's a no.
Did someone suggest that name to him?
I sent it to him and sent him the logo.
Oh, okay.
And sent him the logo because he's just like he's not gonna do it otherwise.
Do it, man. He keeps winning though. He is not lighting the world on fire, but he's won 5 of 6 games.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just classic Sam being aloof and yet winning somehow,
right,
or another. His pickup of the Packers defense was big for him. They got him 22 points, I think.
12 points.
12.
Their highest scoring defense.
It got pretty good, with that. Yeah, I mean, it was just a real close one. There wasn't much on the bench, if I remember correctly. I mean, I could have Robinson for a couple points, maybe, but
no. Like I'm looking at his, and he has nobody.
He did his most efficient team that he could have.
Yeah,
he probably would get the award for the best bench, leaving no points out there.
But just because all of them were on bye,
3.18.
If you can get a win with all those players on bye,
that's true.
You do all right there.
Eked it out.
So I guess, he did send me a message, actually.
Wow.
After the game, showing that he even knew that he won.
Wow.
And he said, rotten luck last night.
Is he British?
He may have been in Britain.
That sounds like a very British thing to say.
He may have been in Britain.
He did not respond to my response in classic Sam style, starting a conversation and then abandoning it.
Just ghosting.
So... But yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about that one. I feel like I kind of
No, I mean, I didn't realize it was so close until I was actually watching the game on Monday night, and I just saw the other matchups. I'm like, whoa.
I mean, that is within the margin of the stat correction I got earlier in the year in my Jacksonville defense.
You got a stat correction?
I did. They went from -1 to -4.
Interesting.
Oh, so stat correction is in after Monday Night Football is over or during?
Yeah, I think they can do them until Wednesday.
So there's a window where they could change it.
There is.
It just depends on if like there's like certain players get credited with certain things.
I saw a clip on Instagram the other day of like somebody taking a kneel at the end of the game and they lose their fantasy point on the kneel because it's -1 yard. It's like, oh, that would really.
That's why Dave will drop a player.
I have. So you didn't hear that story, Alex, but like this was several years ago. I was actually playing Kara, and I was like, I think I had her beat by like 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much her players were done, but I had a guy on Monday night, and instead of allowing him to possibly get negative points and lose me the game, I just dropped him, or I just put him on the bench so that basically he didn't play Monday night.
You can drop people mid-game?
Not mid-game, but like right before Monday night, midweek.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was like Sunday night, the matchup was like done. It said I won.
That's such a smart idea. Wow, I didn't even think of that.
Exactly.
If you have a defense,
Chuck made this whole big thing like, why are you doing this? And it's just like, because I don't want him to get a fumble, break his ankle. Look at Alex picking up Deshaun Watson.
That was terrible.
Literally throws an interception, gets concussed, and is at -1.8 points for the entire game.
But I think yours was like a running back.
Yeah. You mean running backs have broken or snapped ACLs or blown knees after
almost
one play?
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out for you.
It almost doesn't seem fair because you're kind of breaking the rules of. I guess you're not really though. You're not.
You're allowed to split any players with any other players that haven't played yet.
Yeah, you're taking a strategic. It's a strategic move, I guess. But
Dave is king of the unorthodox strategic moves.
Tanking.
Benching your whole team.
Benching all your players before your game.
All my players before my game so that no one scores anything. And then Kara benching all of her players in some sort of weird.
The dark days.
Those are the dark days. Anyway,
what's the next one?
What do we got? Let's do the Jackals put up stinker against the Destroyers.
That was a pretty crap game for the Jackals. Let's see what Alex has to say about his game.
He trash talked me up a little bit before that game too. He's like, "This is the game your streak ends," and that did not end up being the case, did it?
Yeah, he did not back that
not
up
by a long shot.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I feel pretty good about my team.
You now have, I think you're only the second time this year that someone has had 2 games over 130.
Really?
In a row. Who was the other one? I can't remember. I think it was Todd, actually.
Probably me.
No, Todd's first 2 games, 132 and 130.
Not me.
Yeah. So before that Cowboys-Eagles game, I was texting my brother, and I was like, "Man, would you play Dak or who was it? I think Baker, or someone other than Dak." And he was like, "Dak," because the Cowboys do play well in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dak has won like 4 out of last 5 times he's been there, or something like that. I don't know the exact stat. But yeah, it just goes to show trends pretty much like that.
As long as Dak Prescott is away, he's going to play well. If ever he's home and it's a for sure win, he's going to score you 2 points because he's going to throw 7 interceptions. Yeah,
I feel like that has happened quite a bit. And I was also kind of, like you said in the last episode, I was banking on the Cowboys because, if Dak connects with CeeDee Lamb a lot, that's great.
That's Todd's strategy too.
A little bit of a gamble, but yeah.
Well, how does it feel to have gotten 0.72 away from the biggest blowout of the year?
0.72. So last week he got super close to the highest score.
He did, and he was short of that too. So it's like your team wants to be great, but not
Look, I'll take it. Look, I don't need.
You're
I'm totally fine not having those.
Here's a few thoughts here. The Jackals are now Dave. This will be good news to you. They are now the lowest scoring game, so you are off of that.
I know.
You still hold third place. Don't worry.
Of course, and probably fourth too.
But in the record books, it'll only show the winner. So
I will take it, man. 69.7. Like,
yeah, that's a Todd level score. That's a 2018 Todd level score. That's right there.
Bad. That's like before Josh mixed with all the stats and all the scoring stuff. That's what was our average score.
It's possible he forgot the changes he made when strategizing.
That is possible.
For that one. I can tell Alex that that Justin Tucker likes working with you more than he liked working with me.
Right.
Because his scores have been a lot better lately.
Did you have him on some kind of crazy training regimen that he was?
Well, I wouldn't let him have those smoothies he wanted.
I see the special smoothies. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you didn't have much left on the benches in this game either. It really wasn't much that Josh could have done. A whole lot better, honestly. Pittman would have helped a little bit. But
I definitely picked the right weekend to pick up the Browns.
Yeah, you got a good.
That helped in the blowout, for sure.
I mean, your only weak point was Godwin in it. Really.
Yeah, and I was surprised that, because his matchup was a little better, I believe. And Alexander Madison, like, he's fairly reliable too.
Don't sleep on it.
I know, but Cam Akers being there, it's kind of a committee situation.
Although he tore his ACL.
I did not hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, he's done for the season.
Cam Akers. Okay.
I had some students at school who were doing fantasy, and they were talking about this. Apparently, they said this one kid got a steal. He did a trade, and he got Stephon Diggs in exchange for DJ Moore, Madison, and another running back that I don't remember. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's quite the steal you're thinking if you lost all those players. Because I think Moore's going to be okay once Field gets back.
I want to pick your guys' brain on DJ Moore because he started off kind of slow. And then he had basically 2 games where he was like leading in some category. Was it passing? Was it just
Dave's the owner? What were your good weeks there, Dave?
I don't know, but he didn't help me.
He had that really good
because all my other guys slough off as soon as somebody does well. DJ Moore scored 41 points, and then everybody else scored 6.
That's right. I think was I playing you that week?
The only thing DJ Moore has helped is me not get the lowest score of the entire season because he raised me out of the mire into the muck.
He's kind of in the same position, I think, as like Kupp and Nakua right now, where as long as they're rolling with a different quarterback, it's going to be a little.
Yeah, Dave, week 5, I played you. He got 41 points.
Yeah.
And then not a single player even broke 10.
I know.
On your whole team.
You were talking about that. I'm sitting there watching those games, and I had to shut him off eventually because I'm like, I'm gonna lose this game.
Yeah, it sucks, man. That was my season last year in my brother's league, and my season kind of this year in my brother's league too.
It's been Dave's season for the last 3 now.
Since Tankgate. It's the Cubs curse. It's like the Tankgate curse. It's like, I tanked, and now God is punishing.
It's your comeuppance
for my
your hubris.
I don't know, hubris or just I made a bad choice.
Two more points here from this game. The Destroyers now, in the last 3 weeks, you're averaging 139 points per game.
Feels good.
It feels good. How sustainable? We'll see. We'll see. I think it's possible that Dave and I will have egg on our face. How much grief we gave you in the beginning.
I deserve the grief.
Figured out the app finally, and they're able to.
I will say, I will take this opportunity just to say it is growing on me. The Yahoo app. There are some really cool things about it. ESPN is just different. It's just different.
It is different.
Like I like how the Yahoo app gives you like current projected points of each player. Like this is how much
they
I think
update
they'll
that all the
score.
time.
So you just you got to get used to it. So,
although I will have to say, projection wise, defenses are always projected at a decimal. Is there any way that defenses can get decimaled points?
Half a sack, right?
No, because it's still considered still considered a full sack.
Right, obviously. Yeah,
like there's no decimal.
They don't get anything for yardage, so I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
No, because they're getting They get
Let me just
points
look
for
it
points
up here.
allowed, sacks, interceptions.
Looks to me like a safety from the player running out of bounds on his own is worth 0.3.
Seriously? Wow.
No, he's a liar.
Oh, God. See, I still don't always get Chuck's humor, but
I mean, in Josh's league, that's believable, though.
It is possible.
There was a game
around with those. No, go ahead.
Yeah, there was a game this past weekend where there was it was like the first touchdown of the game was like a kickoff return, and that counts as a certain amount of points, but I don't think it even tallies the yards with that. I think it just counts as
it's just there's no yardage for the defense.
It's just 8 points.
Yes, which is a nice little bonus. That's pretty cool.
Well, Josh has a couple of things where he feels they should be rewarded more for what happens or something, and that's one of his little pets right there.
Except for quarterbacks scoring touchdowns, apparently, because he hates quarterbacks that score touchdowns.
He's also pretty soft on something interesting with quarterbacks. Like you can have a game where a quarterback loses a fumble and throws an interception and still gets like a 25.
Okay.
Pretty.
You can also get a quarterback that throws 3 touchdowns and still get a 10.
Yeah. If their yardage was close each time,
yeah,
that's true.
If there's no yardage,
I don't know. I feel like compared to other positions, the negatives that had happened to a quarterback don't seem to. I'm not saying I want them to because I don't want to get hurt by it, but it does seem to be.
Well, I don't like I always felt like it used to be way back in the day that quarterbacks would get -2 points for a sack. And
we don't lose for sacks, do we?
No, not anymore. Or I think it's only a half point or something now. But
really,
it was like it was brutal because you're like not all the time. Now there are moments where you're like the quarterback took a sack when he shouldn't have, but for the most part, that's on the offensive line. That's not on the quarterback.
Yeah. I think next year we need to be able to pick an offensive line.
Ooh, just one offensive line.
You pick a team defense, you pick a team offensive line.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know.
That or a head coach. I'd love to pick a head coach.
Head coach.
That was my idea.
Oh my gosh.
Off the challenges,
That's wow.
That'd be amazing.
They're making boneheaded timeouts. It's that you can only go down. Your coach starts with 10 and it can only go down.
Man, you thinking outside the box.
You stay with McCarthy.
Well, there's one last thought before we move on, and that is, Alex, you have now tied the Polecats for the longest win streak of the year at 5. So if you win this week, you will take the season record, probably for sure, of 6 wins in a row. Now,
we will discuss that. Yeah,
the all-time record is currently, I believe, 9 wins in a row, held by Dave, actually.
I'm surprised it's not more than 9, honestly.
And
9 is a lot. 9 is a lot.
9's a lot.
It is.
It's a long time to win. I believe you won through the playoffs and then won the first game the next year, and that got you to 9. All right, what's the next game?
Okay.
The White Lightning put the Fergles in the kennel.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
so this was this was not quite the most entertaining game, but
no, it seems pretty clear fairly early on. But the White Lightning has scored over 122 in a row now. They stopped the 5-game win streak or lose streak.
Wow,
which has got to be a nice monkey off his back.
Yeah. Wait, so he's won 4 in a row right now?
No, he lost 5 in a row before getting this win.
Oh, really?
No, he lost 4 in a row. Sorry, he was going to get 5. He lost 4 in a row, and then he got this win to get off of that. This is also the first time that Jordan has won from an underdog position, and the first time that Kara has lost from a favored position.
Interesting.
Oof. I'm wondering what you guys think about Davante Adams on his team. Like, is this going to be like a launching off point with the new coach? straight out of Compton.
I mean, the thing is, though, like they scored 30 points and he still only has 5.7. Like he only got 4 receptions.
How many targets
30 points.
You know,
no idea. I'm sure it'll say in the.
It says right here he had 7 targets and 4 receptions. That's pretty bad for him.
Yeah.
But the previous week he had 7 targets and 1 reception. So
something's not working.
Something's not right there. I think it's Jacoby Meyer eating.
Yeah, he's good.
Thing there. I don't know. I think Adams gets frustrated, and honestly, I don't know that he is in love with being there right now. And
he went there because Derek Carr was there.
Yeah. And then they shipped Carr away.
Right.
Yep.
I was a little bit surprised that he didn't get traded too, but obviously I thought him and Garoppolo were going to be something magic.
Well, Garoppolo is hot and cold.
Yes, he is. Speaking of hot and cold, how about Stroud?
CJ Stroud.
Yep. Kara, I'm willing to trade.
44. I like that in-depth reporting we had there. I'm surprised that we didn't actually have the Rappaport reporting the whole I don't trade.
Yeah, I should have seen where he was at. He was probably busy dealing with
leaked it to him,
other things. Got to leak it to Rappaport.
I don't know if Stroud
FFG insider.
He's not going to get 44 again, but
no. Well, you never know, but
probably.
I
mean, look at his points: 14, 14, 12, 44. That's prime Alex target right there. She should be taking.
Look, you guys said the same thing about Devon A. You guys said the same thing about Devon Achane. Oh, he won't score 50 points again.
Yeah, look at him. He's been on IR now. We knew that was going to happen.
Well, but he scored that crazy 70-point Broncos game.
Yeah.
And then the 2 next weeks, he still scored like over 20 points.
He did seem to be continuing.
Yeah.
So
honestly, at the very least, he's probably worth a look as a keeper next year.
Oh, absolutely.
You'd be a 15th round pick, 14th round pick would be possibly a steal.
And I do have him in my other league.
So maybe someone needs to trade for him.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps.
With things. Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot for this game. It was just kind of not a whole lot happened, I think. Jordan moved himself up in the standings through it up to 5th instead of 6th.
So Kara has T. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
Now Jamar Chase, there's an injury.
Yeah.
There's something happening, right? So, and Burrow's on fire. So Kara might be dangerous going forward. If
Jamar Chase is injured right now,
he's got something. And that means T. Higgins.
Does he have Higgins? No, I'm not seeing Higgins on it. Oh yeah, there he is. He moved him up.
Yeah.
I've just never been a believer in Higgins. I had him one year, a couple of years ago, and he never did anything. And I mean, maybe he will now without Chase.
Yeah, I'm just saying without Jamar Chase, he could see more targets.
It could
be possible.
We'll see.
But she's got a few other issues on her roster that she might have to clear up.
She's probably our most accurate one from the draft day one where we were kind of like, that team looks weak.
Yeah, we thought her team was going to be pretty weak. Even though I think the AI basically said she was going to be in like 3rd place.
Yeah, what was her draft grade? I can tell you. Her draft grade was an A-. So they really were hot on her.
While you're looking at that, what was mine? I'm just curious. I think it was pretty bad.
Yes, C-.
Yeah.
I remember correctly, the auto drafts got all A's and everyone else got C's or worse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is something really quick. This is something interesting. The first time I did fantasy 3 years ago, and my brother invited me to his league. In my draft, I was projected dead last. Like, I'm last. By the end of the year, I was 2nd. Because that was the year that Cooper Kupp
draft grade, schmaft grade.
Yeah, exactly. Like Josh, anything can happen.
Josh finished 2nd last year, and he had a C+ ranking.
Yeah.
So you got it. It's what you make of it. It's how you work the waivers.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
And CJ Stroud, 44.3 points.
We'll see. And you know what? If he does continue to perform higher, it could be time to think about benching Mahomes.
I probably would, to be honest with you.
So I have some thoughts. I'm not going to say it quite yet, but I have thoughts when we get to you guys' matchup.
All right. Well, how about your matchup last week? This was the...
All right. Yeah.
I wrote this down here. I wrote Welcome to the sad game of the week with your host, Dave. I feel like every game that anybody that faces Dave is going to score low but still win.
Dude, so I've become Josh last year. Remember
Except
Josh? Anybody who played Josh scored 80 points last year.
Except Josh didn't score worse than them.
No, he just always people came just with the worst games. Like for me, it's everyone comes and plays to my level, but usually beats me.
I mean, here's your last 3 weeks. These are Dave's scores: 94, 78, 79. And here's his opponent's scores: 87, 84, 90.
Oh Lord.
Well, I will say I am probably got the worst bench.
Your bench had more points than your team.
Oh boy.
My bench had more points than my team.
Oh my goodness. I don't think
is that a medal? Is there a medal given out for that?
There has to be. That is amazing.
We'll have to see here. Let's see. My team.
Oh no, Dave. Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz.
Stevenson.
Indeed.
Oh my gosh. Olave. You gotta lock in Olave, man.
When he puts Olave in, he doesn't score.
Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Just
you get into a little bit of an issue there, Dave, because Olave and Hill probably aren't both gonna do well. They did this week, so I guess I don't know. I think it's tough. If he throws a touchdown pass to Olave, you're just winning.
Do you think it's time to move off of Zach Moss?
Yeah, I'm done with Zach Moss. He's
basically
because
he's only one game removed from a 17.
Yeah, but
the trend,
the trend is
Taylor is trending up.
The trend is that next week he's going to score big again.
Taylor's been moving up, and surprisingly, Ramondre Stevenson apparently is trending upwards, but most of his yardage obviously he ripped off like a 64-yarder. So is he going to do that every week? Probably not, but
the Bulldogs do continue to be somewhat married to Dallas. Now the Dallas D only got 2, which normally would make the Bulldogs lose. And they didn't because they were playing Dave, but they did have their second lowest score of the year.
Well, they would have lost if they would have actually played Dallas.
Dallas. So he's still, his success is still pretty closely tied to Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
He just happened to play against Dave.
Yeah. I will say, Butker put out a real stinker. Very disappointing.
Yeah, you didn't get your value out of him.
Overall, though, that was a good trade. I applaud you for that trade.
It was a good trade. It has helped me.
There. You got Eckler seems to be rounding into form again.
Yeah, Eckler. Now, how many 20-point games from Tyreek Hill can I count on? Probably not a lot, but
Tyreek Hill?
Not Tyreek. Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill.
Dave is believing that he has a different T Hill.
You want Tyreek there, Dave?
I'll trade you Taysom for Tyreek.
Denied.
But I have it seems as though Taysom Hill is starting to become a larger part of that offense.
He's been consistently scoring pretty big, 2 or 3 weeks now?
They're using him a lot.
And yet I see you have him on the trade block.
No, that's Tyreek.
Oh, you're trying to trade for him.
No, I'm trading Tyreek. I'm just going to tell Josh to move him around.
Hey, Guys, I'll trade you T Hill. You want that?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. If anybody wants T Hill.
Actually, I thought if you traded for him, though, I think it'd be great if you cornered the market on T Hills.
Ooh, that'd be good. You'd have to have your name be like something with T Hill.
Over the hill.
In my other league, I named my team More and More because I had DJ Moore and Sky Moore. And when I picked up HN, I that week I changed my team name because both the Moores were kind of sucking. So anyways, 4chan is what it's because the 4 looks like an A, like HN 4chan.
That's good.
Kind of dumb, but
yeah, that was a rough game, I will say. I'm glad Taysom Hill was doing something. You got Dalton Schultz out there scoring 20 points somehow.
Tight ends are incredibly unpredictable, man.
It's insane. So like I'm sitting here, I was sitting here like so flabbergasted at these stupid stats. Looking at Lamar Jackson, they score 37 points, and Lamar Jackson scores 10.5 points.
Gave you if he would have just had a normal game like he has been, you would have been golden.
But like, how does your team as a team score 37 points and your quarterback is absolutely nothing? Lamar Jackson has been such a disappointment at quarterback this year. Like, so
he's been hot and cold. He's been hot and cold.
DJ Moore, like what you were saying, like, man, he is so like he scores really. He can score 40 or he scores nothing.
Yeah,
Garrett Wilson.
Well, imagine Dave. Imagine a season where Aaron Rodgers is throwing to Garrett Wilson. And Taylor, and Taylor was traded, so Moss stays the dominant back. Now you have a team that's pretty killer.
And imagine if Justin Fields' thumb doesn't get hurt.
I really should have taken Josh's trade when he traded that.
Which was that?
He wanted to trade me DJ Moore. He wanted DJ Moore for Jonathan Taylor.
Ooh.
But at the time, DJ Moore was like my only consistent. Like he was scoring me like
those
in the 15
2 weeks. Yeah,
and so I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Can't do it.
And at the time, he was still not playing.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor wasn't.
What was your record at that point in the season?
Probably like 1-1.
Dave started off 2-1.
So the gamble might have been. Oh, okay.
You did have a winning record at some point, Dave. You have not scored over 100 since then. By the way, Dave, if you score under 100 this week, you will tie the league record for longest streak under 100.
Wow.
Now, I don't want any shenanigans to make the streak happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
At this point, Dave's like, I'll just go for the record books.
Dave has angered the fantasy gods enough. He needs to be.
So, hey, this is like the first. So I'm just saying here, this is one of the first times. And as we transition into this week's matchups, this is one of the first times that I'm projected to be over 100 points.
I've seen that.
Okay. It's insane.
Before we get do you want to take a brief look at the playoff picture? Because we are getting far enough into the season now where things are coming a little bit into focus. Since we have the 6-team playoffs this year, there's still a lot that could happen. Anybody down there could get in or out. And honestly, even if we were doing just the 4-team one, it would be super tight right now. But there is one thing we can say. If the Destroyers win, combined with a McRib and Fergal loss, then the Destroyers have clinched the playoff spot.
Wow. I'll take it.
We'll take it. And
combined with a what?
With a loss by the McRibs and the Fergals.
Well, I'm playing the Fergals, so I have to win, basically.
And I lose. He clinches.
He clinches in the playoffs.
Well, we can't have that.
And I could say that effectively the same is true for the Polecats just because of how many more points I have than Dave.
Yeah. It's likely.
But mathematically.
You never know, man.
But mathematically, I wouldn't be safe yet.
Right.
I could go on this crazy win streak.
Hey, remember, Rogers, run the table.
Run the table. I think we can run the table. I think I can run the table.
Believe.
Man, that season was great.
All right, so we'll keep checking in on the playoff picture. I don't know I think that Yahoo does put a little sign next to a team when they've clinched or something, doesn't it? Or maybe it doesn't.
Probably.
Yes, it'll be like a little star.
Little star. That's perfect. Getting ready for Christmas, we'll start putting our stars up.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. So week 10.
All right, week 10.
We got some big teams on bye. You got the Dolphins. You got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's a monster bye week.
It is.
Monster.
Let's start with the Jackals versus the Appalachian White Lightning. It's pretty even match.
Really tight in the projections right now. Oh, wait, before we get to this, Dave, let's review. How did we do last week in our picks?
Oh, yeah.
Did Alex win last week?
I think I did.
He did make picks last week, and he got all 4 correct.
Oh, wow.
Again, I'm on fire.
Well, you missed
the weeks that I actually
the
do
weeks
it.
that you play.
I pick really well.
You're doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back. So just so everybody knows, our current stats are Josh is 21, got 21 correct. Then Chuck is at 20. Alex is at 18.
Okay, but let's look at the winning percentages though, because that's probably still pretty high for me. I'm probably still competitive.
It would have to be pretty darn high. I mean, you're still almost competitive to just outright winning.
You have 18. You have 18 correct, but I automatically, if you don't
crazy.
pick, you automatically get a loss. So, like, that's the way I do it. So
you
are 18 and 18. So you are perfectly even.
See.
You have 18
Well,
correct.
that's about
18
the overall
incorrect.
wins. That's crazy. So even Josh at 21 is just barely over 50%.
Yep. And Kara and I are both at 13. Somehow I have picked every single time, and Alex has not, and he is smoking me by 5.
Okay.
Like, it would still take me 2 weeks to even surpass him.
Let me just say this really quick. At the beginning of the season, y'all kept picking against me. Like every week, everyone was just again like not Alex. And like y'all gotta start picking me. Like, and I think still.
So you're on the Josh train, basically. You guys gotta pick me.
Earlier today or earlier this week, Jordan was going about saying that I never picked him. Apparently, we never pick anybody.
So outside of Alex and the 3 people who didn't do picks, so my dad, Josh, my dad, Jordan, and Sam, who didn't pick. Outside of those people, everyone else got 1 correct. So we all got 1 and 3. So Chuck, you, me, Kara, and Josh all got 1 and 3.
This is week 8.
This is week 9.
Oh, 9.
So this was last week.
Gotcha.
So we all got 1 and 3. So nothing changed leadership wise.
Right.
And Alex got 4 and 0.
All right.
So if you take out the losses where you count a loss for me not picking, I wonder what like the winning percentages are. I'm probably in the lead.
So you got 1. I'm looking at how many weeks you did.
You'd be like 18 and.
I think I just missed 2 weeks or 1.
You'd be like 18 and 10.
You see 3 weeks.
3. I missed the first week. That's right.
So 18.
So technically, you're 18 and
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
18 and 6.
Take away 12. Yeah, like
only 6
wow.
wrong. That's impressive.
Yeah, you would be probably leading if you wouldn't have
if I would
skipped out.
You never know.
So. He knows when to hold them and he knows when to fold
them.
Yeah. Anyway,
this is fun.
Anyway,
all right.
Jackals and White Lightning. So they're both 4 and 5. So it's probably going to carry some heavy playoff seeding at least. They played in week 3 where the Jackals were just edged out 149 to 147. If we remember that match that we had very tight.
Yeah.
The Jackals are on a rough 3-week losing streak. The White Lightning just snapped a 4-game losing streak. So there's a lot of losing in both of these teams' recent history.
Yeah, the White Lightning started off real hot.
Yeah,
so
we thought
they were formidable because of that 49er strategy.
Mm-hmm. And the 49ers have not done well now, and now they have not done well.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's a huge bye week for the Jackals. You got Goddard, Kupp, Waddle, and Mostert all gone.
He's pretty much his big ones.
Meanwhile, the White Lightning are only missing Tua, who I've been saying he should bench anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But the projections are still, for everything that the Jackals have on bye, they're right next to what the projections are for the White Lightning.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they're still projecting Devontae Adams getting over 10.
Don't know why. Well, it is the Jets, so I mean,
it is the Jets.
But the Jets have a decent defense, don't they?
They do.
They give up points to wide receivers.
What did Robert Saleh say? Like even though they've been losing, they've been embarrassing the really good quarterbacks.
I mean,
he said we've embarrassed him, and then he walked back on it a little bit because
of course.
It's a tough one. This is a real tough one to choose between here. I as I was looking through it and trying to go through each one, I just feel like I'm actually leaning a little towards the Jackals.
Really?
I don't know if I should after they just put up a 69, but I don't know. So when I look at the team on paper here, but I could be easily, I won't begrudge anyone for picking Jordan in this one either. So
I will say I'm picking Jordan, but I think that's because his team's a little bit more complete than Josh's. Josh is dealing with a lot of guys who, like Cole Kmet. Do I think Cole Kmet's going to like repeat what he's been doing and get 20, 21 points?
I was really considering Kmet as my tight end this week, and I decided not to. But
I had him for like 4 weeks, and he got me like 2.5 points.
Well, the reason I didn't pick him is because Carolina has apparently been very good against tight ends.
So did Josh just pick him up then?
Yeah, he got him on the waivers.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He's got Taylor still. McPherson's generally good. Herbert certainly could do. Pittman and Walker have been doing pretty well.
TJ Watt just getting sacks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to keep Pittsburgh in there. I feel like he's probably going to put in the. Well, I thought he had a defense on his team. He must.
Green
Bay's offense though has not been. I mean, last week was okay, but
they don't do a lot of takeaways, which they're not giving away like any big points.
That's fair.
I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed that the Green Bay is probably going to score 14 points. So, that's pretty much what Green Bay does: is score 14 to 17 points a game, regardless of the team they play. Minus the Vikings.
Yeah. So I'd probably lean Jordan just because, again, Josh does have a lot on the bench.
It's too bad Josh isn't here to celebrate me picking him.
It's insane.
I think I've picked Josh like 3 weeks in a row now.
I will say
it has not helped you. Actually, you picked yourself in week 8.
Well, yeah.
So. I will say it's almost a blessing for him to be putting Kupp and like Waddle on the bench because, they actually haven't been doing great, which is kind of why he's been losing, I think.
Yeah.
He's clinging to the old days.
So, yeah. Wow. Bijan's supposed to be great.
He might next year.
He
might next year. That sophomore jump.
Anyways.
All right.
Probably go with Jordan.
Let's do the I would call this the game of the week, the Doge Destroyers versus the Fighting Fur.
Yes.
Because this is David versus Goliath. And right now,
sure is.
David is projected to win.
Oh, she's got Stroud in.
You somehow jumped 4 points from the time
I may or may not.
When I opened it, he was projected to lose too, and then it went up.
Yeah, so now.
You know what it is? I have found on Yahoo for some reason, sometimes when you go to it, it doesn't calculate the defense.
Yes. Oh, really?
And then you refresh it, and now the defense is put in. But sometimes
I have seen that. That's a bug I think that they've had this year.
Well, yeah, and they do move the projections a little bit too. Like Laporta was projected because I had Laporta in, and he was projected at 6 or something, and now he's up to 7.9.
Yeah.
So I've been going back and forth, of course.
Mm-hmm. It's still time to go back and forth again.
With Alexander Madison being the bell cow back again, with Cam Akers being out, probably a good call to have him in there. So I slotted him.
You can see that you slotted him.
That's a good looking team right there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I
appreciate that.
I'm struggling a little bit to see why it's projected at just 106.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Alex, I would consider taking Khalil Herbert off of IR and putting him in there with that projected 0.11 point.
Why has he got him?
I picked him up.
Throw him in your.
You're gonna roll in a cast or whatever.
Why would they give? Is he gonna have one carry?
I don't know. That'd be one carry for 10 yards, it'd be one carry for 1 yard,
right?
So I'm just gonna put him in there.
Accidentally roll on the field.
That is hilarious. I am still tempted to I am still tempted to put Laporta in there because it is such a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones that it's 50.
With Josh Dobbs injecting life into the Vikings, like, I mean, they're gonna play him, right?
But
like they have to.
Yeah,
play
he's
Dobbs,
playing.
though.
But can you bank on that? I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Lots of unknowns.
They're calling him. Sorry,
one of the highest projections that Kara has had.
And you know what? This is what I wanted to talk about, and I think which is why it's kind of tipping the scale. And I know, I never pick Alex, but actually, I think I have picked you, Alex. I picked you last week to win.
You have,
but what's tipping me the scales towards Kara is the fact that she is no longer shackled by her Kansas City blind.
Yeah,
and if you have talked to my wife in the last 4 to 5 weeks, she is, because she's such a Swiftie. That's all. She never watches football. I'm telling you, for the last 4 years, Kara has bared with me as through the Packer game. She'll watch the Packer game, but she doesn't really care. She'll go walk away. She'll do this, but she is glued to that television set if the Chiefs are on live TV. She is.
She woke up early and watched the Germany game last week.
Great. No, she wanted to, but we couldn't get it anywhere, so it was on NFL.com. So she couldn't watch it.
NordVPN.
There you go.
I know. I actually have NordVPN.
Is this the advertisement for the week?
I actually do have NordVPN.
I do too. I use Nord.
I like Nord. It's good.
I also use their password. Never mind. I'm not saying that.
Their password thing.
Password managing.
Well,
I mainly use it to
Stroud is
illegal
probably
content.
Stroud is probably getting closer to 15 than anywhere near 44 this week.
Oh, who's he playing? Cincinnati. Yeah.
So I don't think Stroud's going to do anything.
I don't think he's going to do.
I think 16 points is probably what.
That's what I think. But I just feel like the Fergal scores have gone back to what they were before her glory 3 weeks that she got. And unfortunately, they got one win out of while doing that. It just seems like things have gone down, and I can't trust this team. So I'm picking the Destroyers.
Smart. I mean, that's a good. And I'm assuming, Alex, you're picking yourself.
Like always.
Nice.
Can't bet on yourself. Who can you bet on?
I might take Cleveland out. Pick someone up.
But we always look forward to watching your changes.
I was curious. I'm like, Cleveland, you had Cleveland last week, which helped you.
Yeah.
With the 23.
Now they're against the Ravens.
But you'd have to drop one. You're not going to hold 3 defenses.
I mean, he held 3 quarterbacks. So, I mean, technically what he could do if he doesn't want to drop either of them is you could put Fields on IR temporarily.
Can you with a doubtful?
I think he's questionable.
You can do it with no, but
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I put a guy on that was questionable on IR.
It's risky.
Yeah, but it's possible that Fields even ends up playing.
Yeah, and then what happens?
Well, but you can put, if you're not going to use him this week, just IR him, put in your defense, then drop your defense, and then pull off. To be honest with you,
I've almost thought of dropping Fields just for another quarterback, or like Josh Dobbs could be better than Fields.
That's true.
But Cleveland, the Ravens are at the top of most people's power rankings. Ravens are insane right now. Even if Lamar doesn't get
hasn't helped me
fantasy points, right?
Because you got the
running attack.
You got the wrong Ravens. You need Tucker.
Justin Tucker. Yeah, right. The running attack.
Crazy to
it
actually is crazy to think about that as this is a less fantasy but more Ravens. Think about how much powerful the Ravens could be if J.K. Dobbins hadn't blown out his Achilles.
That's right.
In week 1.
And OBJ is injured now too, right?
Yeah. Wow.
When did that happen?
Yeah. Who cares?
When was it?
He always has potential, but
he's got potential, but he sits there and whines he doesn't get the catches he wants. He goes and throws his helmet on the ground.
Okay. Last thing here. Do you think ETN is going to rip up the Niners defense? Do you think he's able to?
That's gonna. I thought 15.5 points there, and that may be a little high for him. But he is kind of got that catching quarterback
Yep.
or catching running back. Like
I
very
think he's
similar to
leading
McCaffrey.
in yards.
Did you pick Fergles, Dave?
I did pick the Fergles.
Might want to rethink.
Well, here's
that
the next
decision.
question. In week 3, the Doge Destroyers won by 27 points. Do you think it's closer this week?
Oh, I think so.
Do I?
I think so.
Yeah. Either of you.
I think it's going to be closer because I think Kara's going to win.
Do you think she'll win by more?
No, I think it'll be a close game. I could see it coming down to like, let's see if we got
have any
Monday
nights on here?
She's got a Sunday night defense and a Monday night. She's got Sunday night, 2 Sunday nights, and 2 Monday nights.
Alex,
so I think it'll come down.
It could.
Alex, we're going to know your score by the end of the evening
Sunday.
On Sunday. You have nobody at night games.
You get to just relax all night.
More
or
like
sweat because
I know.
You watch the points crawl up.
Yeah, Javonte Williams, relatively good matchup there actually. The Buffalo Bills I think have been allowing some, but
and Javonte Williams has been trending upwards.
He has.
T. Higgins has been trending upwards.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs has finally started to show up, and
but
St. Brown has been pretty solid.
You're saying all these things about a team that can't hardly crack 100.
And I gotta say, I'm
telling you,
Diggs.
dude.
Yeah.
It's just hard to be like, oh, every single one of her players is trending so much better as she continues to lose and put up stinker after stinker.
Yeah, but the guys that have been being productive, so she put up 1 stinker week, which is last week. And then 125 points average for the last 5 weeks prior to that.
No, she is farther away from that than you are thinking. Her last scores are 106 and 84.
Yeah, because I beat her.
Okay, so here's my thoughts quick. Stephon Diggs, I think the Bills are in trouble. They have to go on a run, basically. And it doesn't seem to me like they can do that. Or something's not working. So Diggs might be her weak point, I think. I would probably say
he's been double digits for the entire year.
Okay, Denver just destroyed the Chiefs, didn't they? A few weeks ago.
Yeah, but
to be fair, Travis Kelce went to a concert and then flew over there.
I actually didn't know that.
It was a big thing. He went to it wasn't a concert. He went to go watch the World Series with Swift. And it was Friday night, and then Mahomes was sick, and he was out doing stuff.
Yeah, that was a Mahomes flu game.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Well,
Well, let's keep moving.
Yeah.
What's the next one, Dave?
All right. Let's go with Pony Polecats versus the Bulldogs.
All right. We've got a big game here for the Polecats. I think it's going to be a tough one.
I was going to say this is going to be rough for you.
Kyler Murray.
No Hurts, no Nakua.
Nakua.
Right now I've got Murray. I've got Murray in only because
Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
I've got Murray in because everybody's been getting big points against Atlanta. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Crappy quarterbacks are putting up big points against Atlanta. So if he's going to come in and have a big game, it's going to be this one. And then I look at the other guys, and it's do you take Howell? He's the highest ranked quarterback that's not taken right now, but he's against Seattle, who has done very well against quarterbacks. You try to take Dobbs, he's against New Orleans, who's been very good against quarterback. You take Purdy, he's going against Jacksonville, who's been very good against everybody who's out there is going against a team that hasn't allowed more than 12 points to a quarterback in weeks. So I feel like the only chance to go with there is Murray to try to hope that he just puts up some points.
You want to trade for Lamar? I'll give you Kelce.
Are you serious?
You give me Kelce, I'll give you Lamar, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not even using Kelce this week. Come on, seriously.
It's true. Why don't I have
veto
him?
that?
He's just sitting on your bench.
Why don't I have him in? At the same time, I just started. I really debated on tight ends, and I felt like maybe Ferguson was a little bit point chasey, but he does have 2 good weeks in a row.
He's become one of Dak's favorite targets, though.
But he has to play the Giants, who, when he played them earlier this year, he only put up 2.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's like
week one, though. Week one.
Just reading that, but then at the same time, I just saw that Jordan dropped Dalton Kincaid. It's like, would Kincaid be better than Ferguson? I don't know. I keep calling him Ferguson.
Ferguson.
But I don't know. I think I might stick with him and then regret it.
It's fair.
That's probably what I'm But there's a lot of buys here. I believe Todd only has Smith on a buy. I think he's gonna. I don't think his team is set right where it wasn't. No, he does have Lockett in now. I thought he was gonna put Lockett in and finally try out his shiny new toy from the trade.
Although I think he is going to end up putting in. So this is where it kind of gets tricky, Chuck, because I'm sure he's putting in Jahmyr Gibbs.
I cannot be so sure. Isn't Montgomery coming back?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
I would think.
You think he's going to keep Justice Hill in there, who's like an average of 3 points for the last.
Well, here's a couple of things there. He's got that. He's probably going to switch to Allison against the Giants.
Yes.
He'd be stupid not to.
So I think.
But if Chase doesn't play, that could help.
Okay, last year when Dalvin Cook was on the Vikings and he went out, remember? And Alexander Mattison, he went off those games. He did really, really well. Yeah. And then as soon as Dalvin Cook came back in, it was right back to Dalvin Cook, and he was the guy again. So I think David Montgomery.
But David Montgomery, he's so old, man. Jahmyr Gibbs Jahmyr Gibbs is the future, though. David Montgomery is legitimately there just to fill a role.
I know. My point, though, is that Dalvin Cook was also,
But Jahmyr Gibbs is much more of a dynamic runner than David Montgomery.
True.
But at the same time, teams have shown again and again that even if they have a really good rookie running back, they just don't use them right.
Right. Yep.
They tend to just keep thinking, no, we got to hold them back, even if the better strategy would be to use them more.
Unless we're talking about the Miami Dolphins. Let's be honest.
Or the Texans case, where they did really well with.
Whoa. Oh, I hear a puppy.
Hey. Sorry, my dog got his nail caught in his other nail, and he couldn't get his paws apart.
Oh no! I wish we could see.
You wouldn't have seen that, but it was very sad.
Okay.
But he's all better now. He's all better.
Good.
There's one last stat I've got here, and that is that the Polecats have not lost consecutive games since the playoffs of 2021.
What? Wow.
And they would like to continue that streak.
That is a really impressive stat.
I don't know. I'm just saying, Chuck, right now, if projected points, if my dad puts in who he probably should put in right now, you're talking projected points is 110.
It's gonna be tough.
Super lopsided.
I think it's gonna take some magic.
Now again, if Jamar Chase doesn't play, that's going to drop him significantly.
I did.
Right. There's a lot of unknowns.
I did pick the Bulldogs.
Oh,
you're picking against yourself.
Against yourself.
The second time I think I picked against myself. I hope I win. I certainly do, and I'll do everything I can. But it just doesn't. I've hit with some pretty hard buys, and there isn't a lot to go with.
Chuck, you got to look at what's on David's blackboard back there. You got to believe.
I believe
yourself.
Don't believe in my pick score.
Gotta believe, man.
Gotta believe. I hope I do. Hopefully Murray goes off and has a great game, and Ferguson goes off and has a great game. I don't know that I'm not sold yet on having Metcalf in over Hopkins. I may switch that. Metcalf has kind of become trash lately.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. How long has Kyler Murray been out?
Since all year.
Right. Okay. So he hasn't played this year.
No.
So
I do think he hit a lot of Call of Duty up. So he has played.
That's right. He does game. Yeah. I don't know, man. I would be a little worried about playing him, but you never know. He might. I like your logic.
I just don't know who's a better choice.
I like your thinking on it, though. That was logical. So
appreciate that. What about you, Dave?
I'm picking my dad Gotta go Todd here. I think he has the better upside. You definitely are hurt a lot with Travis Kelce is like you're rock solid. Like he's the guy that like is automatically gonna get you like 15 to 20 points. And without that,
I really like DeAndre Hopkins. I really like Derrick Henry. I think he's gonna run over the Buccaneers. Kamara is an upward trend. I might take you, Chuck.
No,
I don't know. I might just
right now you have Todd as your pick.
I might have to change it.
He's trying to butter me up out here.
We'll see. No. I mean, and Adam Thielen also.
Yeah, all these guys.
He's kind of Adam Thielen's insane.
I will say this about Thielen. I picked him up and then sat him on my bench for 2 weeks, and he scored 22 each week. And then I started him, and he has scored 11 and 6.
Yeah.
But he has a pretty good matchup against Chicago here, so
exactly.
So I'm hoping that he's going to stay in. So
okay.
All right, we got one last game.
Yeah, that's mine.
That is
suddenly feisty nincompoops.
Which this may become the very first game where I am projected to win. Now, granted, Sam has 2 guys that are he has not switched yet.
Looking at the people on his team, even if he puts in Ridley and he puts in Montgomery,
he's not going to be projected.
To the San Francisco defense, he's still not breaking like 90.
Yeah.
Right.
Like his projection is trash this week.
So I will say this is the first time I'm projected to win. This is the first time in a very long time I'm seeing projected to be over 100 points. Now, granted, that doesn't mean anything because my projections, I once saw that I was projected to score 136 points one week, and I think I scored 83. So
you're benching Wilson, huh?
Yes, I am benching Wilson.
This will be the week.
After how the Jets just looked.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Probably a good call.
Las Vegas is trending upwards with the fact that they fired those guys, and now everybody.
It is rough that you're going to be without your cornerstone this week.
What?
Butker?
Zach Moss? Oh, Butker. Yeah, Butker's going to be tough.
So you guys played in week 3, and the McRibs won 126 to 112.
So I scored 100. I scored 126 points.
Yeah,
man,
you were looking good at the beginning of the year. You started 2-1.
Yeah,
that was a lifetime ago. It feels like.
What happened, Dave? What happened?
Yeah, my team became the most mediocre.
I think DJ Moore kind of hurt you.
So honestly, if we look at things here, in between weeks 3 and 4, Dave moved his headquarters next to a strip club, and I think that the players have been distracted lately.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
that's true.
Yeah, I said it's a pretty one-sided projection, and Sam hasn't exactly been scoring high. He's just been really lucky with who he's playing against each week. Like Sam's opponents right now are, I guess you got the 119 and the 154, but then 84 and 92.
Yeah.
On there. So I pick the McRibs.
Nice. So did I.
Same.
Everyone's picking me.
Dave, I just gotta say, you would play a kicker named McManus.
McManus.
McRibs McManus.
So no, but it's more like the man part. Like, do you remember in college I think you instituted Manly Movie Monday or something.
Oh yeah, Manly Monday
movies
movie
like
night.
Predator and
we did a whole Jean-Claude Van Damme movie marathon.
That was great.
Time Cop, The Quest.
Time Cop. Oh my gosh.
This is great. So yeah, honestly, I picked him up because he was the best kicker.
Yeah.
Did Sam ever switch kickers, Chuck, or is he still is Carlson still like a?
Well, Carlson had a big game for him last week.
Yeah, 111 yards.
Didn't you have Hunter Henry? Did you drop him, Dave?
No, I don't. Well, maybe I did.
You did, because I remember I'm like, why is he playing Hunter Henry? Like, That's hurting them.
You know, starting the same kicker all year is like a broken clock. At least twice you're going to get a big score.
Yeah. I mean, I have gone through quite a few kickers and quite a few players in general. I'm almost considering putting in Will Levis. But it's just like it's the same thing with the Davante Adams thing. Like we talked about this on the last podcast. Like, could you even feel good about benching Lamar Jackson or benching Davante Adams?
You can't.
Because all those guys have the potential.
His ceiling is too high.
As soon as you bench him, they're going to score.
And Lamar's ceiling it's just too high.
Lamar should score 25 points. Yeah. Will Levis, you might get Will Levis that scores you 30 points or 8 points.
You have to start Lamar Jackson. Yeah,
I know.
You have to.
I want, I'm just like sitting here going, ooh.
Like you do have him. Levis. You picked him up to thwart me.
I'm not actually sure why Will Levis has such a high
projection.
Yeah. I think it's because of the matchup, because Tampa Bay gives it the 4th most fantasy points to quarterbacks.
A little bit of that, probably also a little bit that his uncle works for Yahoo.
Yeah.
Wait, is that
technically
true?
No.
Oh my
God. Cleveland apparently gives up the 30th most points to quarterbacks.
Cleveland has been a solid defense.
If I were to play the Alex card here and work the matchups, which I hate doing, I should probably bench him. We'll see. Maybe I'll watch a couple of YouTube videos or something and see if somebody can convince me to bench Lamar Jackson.
I don't think you can bench him for Levis.
Will Levis. Probably not, unfortunately. And it's okay because he only picked up Levis to save me from myself when I was going to pick him up.
I do have one last stat here, and that is that the Destroyers have taken over the top spot on points against and are now on
against
track. They are on track to break Josh's lowest points against record.
Really?
Yep. If the season ended right now, they would have a lower average points against than Josh had in his amazingly low year last year.
Wow. Am I on track to break any records for the lowest points for?
Probably.
Let's take a quick look here. What's 848 divided by 9?
You or Kara.
It's not great.
You're averaging 94 points a game, and the current record for lowest
terrible
points for average is 89. So you would have to drop 5 points still.
Wow. Okay.
So
I got some work to do.
That's tough record to beat.
Do you think you have? So you think you've scored less points than Kara?
Oh, I know I've scored.
Okay, so Kara has been
almost 120 less points than Kara.
Dave is like the little scatter chart where all of a sudden there's one dot just way off in another.
Yeah.
Like, where'd that guy come from?
No, but I mean, I also have a very low points against too. So I'm in that kind of weird. Like Kara's got the classic last place point spread where she has a really high points against and a fairly low to medium low points for. So classically what last place players do, they get scored on a bunch and they don't score a lot of points. Like for me, I got this really weird thing where I got really low points against, but also a super low points for.
Yeah.
And actually, so there's been 63 games played this year, and Dave, there's not 63 games you could have if you played everybody else. And Dave, you would have won 17 of them only.
Yes. So did you see that stat sheet thing I gave you today?
I tried looking at it a bit today. Did it show that stat?
So yeah, hang on. Let me pull that information up.
The Destroyers would have won 44 of their 63. And they are first place in that.
So Yahoo authenticate. Great.
I was trying really hard to find my lost ESPN stats. That was kind of the holy grail I was going. And even though I found I did find the code, but it was
so schedule comparison. That was an interesting little thing. So the schedule comparison here, the weekly records versus all teams, like according to this, and these probably concur with your stats, Chuck, the Doge Destroyers is 44-19 overall. The last 2 weeks, Alex, you would have gone 7-0 against all teams because you're the highest scoring team.
Yeah.
The New London Bulldogs are 36-27. Polecats 35-28, Appalachian White Lightning 35-28, Nemoidian Nincompoops 32-31, Tharsis Jackals 28-35, Fighting Fergals 25-38, and McRibbed is 17-46. I would have gone 0-7 in week 4, week 6, and week 8. I would have gone 1-6 this past week.
So you were only saved by Josh this week from going.
But there's also a very interesting, and here maybe I'll share my screen here. Let's see if this shows up. So if you guys can see this, I don't know if you can see this super well.
Okay.
But you might need to zoom in. But
if you had someone else's schedule, what would your record be? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you notice, the Tharsis Jackals, like pretty much like if I would have, if I were playing, my team versus the Doge Destroyers, I'd be 3-6. Surprisingly, if I would have had the Tharsis Jackals, I'd be 4-5. Alex, if you would have played my schedule, you'd be 6-3. If you play Kara's schedule, you'd be 5-4.
Holy cow! I'd be 2-7 if I played Kara's schedule.
So Kara's schedule must be like insanely difficult.
That's insane.
Her schedule, if you
everybody's record would be just crap if they played her schedule.
This is really interesting. Wow.
I'll have to explore this more.
Yeah. So there's not much. There's not much on this site, but
Football Hub.
So yeah, it's just called Fantasy Football. This guy made it.
Wow.
Made this website, so you can see power rankings.
Very cool. Is this the same guy who did that scoreorigami video?
No.
You guys seen that?
I haven't. There was more recently. Just one of the scoreorigamis got scored.
Oh, really?
And this year, I know one of them did.
Cool.
The main way is I was looking at the playoff machine here, and so you can kind of see this is what the playoffs would look like if the season ended right now.
Doge Destroyers.
And then you can choose to like see what would happen if, like, what would you need in order to like change,
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
So
you have to share that on the Discord.
Let's make it so that the Doge Destroyers and you guys all lose. So I'm getting up there, guys. Look at that. By week 11, if I win and Josh loses.
It starts with one win, man.
So yeah, it's just some. I'll throw this in there's also playoff odds.
I shouldn't be surprised that somebody actually made something like this. I'm sure there are multiple versions of this kind of thing.
As of right now, these odds are calculated purely from the history of each team's score this year. It does not take projections or buys into account. It uses data to run 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations of each matchup given a team's average score and standard deviation. So Doge Destroyers,
but okay.
You are basically 75% chance of coming in first place.
Wow. Pretty good.
And most of the rest of the percentages fall with the Polecats.
Yeah. So McRibbed, I got a 0.06% chance of getting third place. I have a 7% chance
of making the playoffs.
I'm at 7% right now.
Okay.
Tharsis is at 41%. Appalachian is.
Oh wait, no. You don't. You'd have to take 7 plus 1 plus 0.3 plus 0.06 to get your overall percentage chance of getting in the playoffs.
What do you mean?
Because it totally adds up to 100. Your percentage chance of finishing 8th, 7th, 6th.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So I'm actually. Well, it's not that.
You actually
far
have like
off.
an 8% chance.
I have a 9.73% chance right here. So this is the total.
So I have a very good chance of playoffs. That's good.
Alex, you have 100% chance of making the playoffs, basically, according to this.
Whoa! It's not mathematically.
It can't be 100 yet.
He's not mathematically.
No, but
yet.
According to 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations.
Yeah, but I don't like the Monte Carlo ones. I prefer.
I don't even know what that is.
I prefer when they run it through Las Vegas instead.
Okay. You don't even know what that is. So you have a 99.97%. Maybe we'll check on these as the.
So basically, this is saying it's over. Shut down the season, McRibs and Fergos.
Yeah.
It's over.
I'm just saying now we can look at history. We're gonna look back on the stream in history when the McRib for her pleasure takes the crown this year, and we go on week 10. I had a 9.73% chance of winning the playoffs.
That is that would be completely insane.
Well, I feel like this site makes my job obsolete. I don't know how I
No way.
Makes your job obsolete.
You're doing a great job, Chuck.
I'll keep my spreadsheet.
Whoa. Okay, we all disappeared.
I'm back.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it depends on if I can get a consistently good quarterback. I've had a problem with that all year. I'm pretty good at tight end. And now I'm pretty happy with my kicker. So, it's yeah.
No, I think I think you'll make a run deep into the playoffs. I would not be shocked to see you in the championship game.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Tyreek Hill did get shut down pretty easily this past week.
I mean, when it gets to the playoffs, it all comes down to 1 week, and so it's two, just like in the real leagues, it comes down to how that week turns out.
Sure does.
We got week 10 coming up, and then it looks like week 11 after that is going to be our throwback week. So about those throwback names.
Yeah, I'll have to post some throwbacks in that. I'll repost the throwbacks so people can look at it a little bit more.
We'll go from there. No big injuries this week, I think. No big IR injuries for the most part. So,
well, I mean, other than
Jamar Chase.
He's not an IR guy though. He's just kind of.
Oh, IR. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, the one guy blew his Achilles. Oh, I mean, he's not a huge guy.
Kirk Cousins?
No. The other guy from the Vikings, though.
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers.
But I mean, who was banking their run on Akers?
His was also an Achilles. Gosh.
Yeah.
What's all these Achilles? What's in the water?
We talked about that last week. I was just like, I feel like every year there's this the same injuries happen. Like that one year that Alex Smith broke his leg, so did Derek Carr. And it was almost the exact same.
Because the players have gotten too strong for their bodies to handle.
Did you say almost exact same?
Because Alex Smith was pretty unique.
Alex Smith's foot basically detached.
Well, but so didn't that happen to? It happened to Derek Carr, and then was it the same year that happened to
Derek Carr's foot having the same issue as Alex Smith?
I don't think Derek Carr's injury was quite as bad, but I think you're thinking of Dak Prescott, Dave.
Well, Dak Prescott too.
That was a few years later.
Was that later?
That was a few years later. That was 2 years ago.
All the broken legs just start to blend together.
Yeah, they do.
That is interesting though, Dave. This year it's Achilles.
It's just the Achilles.
The flavor of the week of the year.
Well, and I was curious if maybe because every year with the way that the NFL brings down rules about tackling and the way that I feel like they always do some new thing that focuses on player safety. So it's we're focusing on player safety. So you have to tackle a different way, or you have to do this. Was this year something that they implemented, like maybe
they
behind
told
the
them they had to
scenes.
tackle on the Achilles. So that they
No, but I mean, like,
don't
you don't know,
know.
like, if they're tackling different than what they used to do, and it's putting more pressure on the Achilles for whatever reason. And it's forcing people into those.
Well, hats off.
Forcing to people to tackle in different ways. I'm not saying that they all tackle in different ways, but like putting your weight and distributing your weight differently.
It's worth examining.
So,
or not.
I mean, I think
or not.
I think the idea that like because players had to start lowering their tackle, so like back in the day where they could just basically like knock a guy on his butt, like just spear a guy.
Now they bite their
now knee. You have to like do like a low tackle. That definitely, I think, has increased the amount of knee injuries that we see. Obviously less concussions, less, CTE stuff, but at the same time, like you're having to, those cornerbacks and safeties are having to tackle lower, which is going to cause a lot more problems and more stress on your knees and legs.
Well, on that note.
Right. No more injuries, please.
That was it.
Teams next week, except for the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Chuck? I missed that.
Good luck to every team except for
the Bulldogs.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
really enjoyed
too bad that we didn't have people chatting with us. We could have really had a rock.
Yeah, a little empty tonight.
Like the 1 week that Josh.
Well, I was gonna say it's gonna take 50% of our audience away by bringing Alex on the podcast.
Yeah, right.
But took 100%.
I don't know. Usually Josh shows up, which is
he's usually
very surprising.
Yeah. It's okay.
So, well, we had one person. We had one very quiet person there for a very long time, and now we have none. But could have been Josh. It could have been Jordan. A lot of times, what he'll do is he'll just turn it on and then fall asleep. So it's just playing in the background. So
it could have been my brother. I told him we'd be on.
Could be my dad because my dad doesn't know how to chat.
I think he did one time, right?
He did after we kind of like I actually had to like text my brother and be like, you need to tell dad how to chat instead of trying to send messages via Discord.
Fantastic.
But yeah, this was fun. This was a good time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well
and
thanks for having me in the league. I was really excited when
being an active member. I wish we had 8 fully active members.
I will say like it's kind of crazy just to see because it was like last year it was pretty much me, Chuck, Josh, and Jordan were the only real true active members, and Jordan is like in and out, like he barely is in it. So it was like me, Chuck, and Josh.
And I feel like Kara could participate.
Yeah, she doesn't want to download another app, so she's not going to download Discord.
That's fair.
And even then,
I don't want to trade. I don't want to download an app. I don't want to wait Taylor Swift.
She's basically quiet quitting at this point. She did tell me today, we had this conversation that she said she will be in this league until she wins. She's like the first, because I said, hey, do you want to be a guest on our podcast at some point this year? And she's like, I will guest on our podcast when I win, and I am giving my retirement address.
Wait, so she won't stop until she wins the championship?
She won't stop.
Well, then, that's a good goal. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
Looks like we'll have her on next year.
She's going to end on a high note, apparently. So
we'll see. All
right.
Tell her to shake it off.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But all right, well, see you guys. Thanks for watching. For those who watched, for those who watch in the future, have a good one. Good luck.
Yep. Good luck to everybody.